My name is Lisa Anderson. I work for Up North Prevention, which is an initiative of Catholic Human Services, and I try to prevent all kinds of substance use, including vaping. We have here a whole variety of different kinds of electronic nicotine delivery systems, which is the proper name for them. Vaping is actually a slang term. There's all kinds of different slang terms, both for the process and for the devices. It's kind of like Kleenex for a tissue. So we have a couple of examples here. These are your e-juices. They can be mixed at a vape shop or they can come prepackaged. The problem with these is there's really no oversight or testing on what's actually in them. A lot of young people get told that, oh, there's no nicotine in this. But in independent testing, they found that there's a small bit, and that's because, of course, they want to get them hooked on it, so they keep coming back for more. So we have the Juul, which is very, very popular. It's fairly inexpensive, and it's easy to hide, and that sneak factor, spy factor is why the young people kind of like this. You can put it in your sleeve. You know, a lot of times for teachers, it's really hard to keep an eye on 30 kids all at the same time, so they can put it in their sleeve and cough. And we have colds here in northern Michigan, but what they're actually doing is taking a hit off their vape. Some of the newer products, this is how pretty they are. It's the gadget factor. They're pretty, they're easy to use, you put the pod in it. This one's a little bit bigger than a Juul, so it holds a little bit more of the product. And it's, you know, it could be considered a lighter. There are ones that look like lipstick cases. There's all different ways to actually hide your device. This is actually a bracelet. A couple years back, these parachuting emergency bracelets were really popular, so it took a while for teachers to catch on. These are some of your more traditional first generation devices. College students like these because they hold more juice, they hold more product, and they're not as concerned with hiding it. So you will see people walking around with these all the time. Let's see here. These are also still very popular. If you go into any, usually middle school or high school these days, the principal will usually have a box of confiscated items like this. In the beginning, they were a lot more expensive than what they are now, so kids can actually afford them. People always ask me, where do they get them from? Well, they get them from their older sibling, their friends. Some kids are very business oriented, and so they buy them, they order them, and then they sell them and make a profit. Let's see here. What else do you want to know? This is another way to hide a device. The problem with all of this, just like with traditional smoking, is it truly is kind of a gateway to other kinds of addictive things, because the gadget factor, oh, this is a toy. I know something that the rest of the world doesn't. I'm an expert on devices. You can use these for THC, and the THC is getting stronger and stronger and more dangerous, and as we've seen in the news, we've had some deaths. The deaths from the THC overdoses is not the only health problem, but this has hit us so fast that we really haven't had the time to do the studies. One of my pet peeves is people refer to this as tobacco. It's not tobacco, it's nicotine. Tobacco is the leafy plant substance, just like your dabs and your oils aren't marijuana as we knew it back in the day. The leafy green plant substance only had about 3% THC, and the dabs and the oils that you can use in an electronic device like this are sometimes almost 90% THC, and that's pretty strong stuff. Do you want to talk about the fruity flavors a little bit? So that's one of the other things, the flavors that were able to be mixed up in your smoke shops and your head shops. A lot of people had their favorite where they would take, coconut and mango and mix it together, or they would come up with their own flavors. And that was sort of part of the attraction of it. I do think that limiting the flavors will deter a lot of people, because just like when somebody tried their first cigarette and it made them cough and it didn't taste very good, if we can make this not as pleasurable, I think we'll save some people from getting addicted.